Hey, thanks very much for joining. Well, I did it. I bought a new project. It's a Go Devil mini bike from 1964, made by a company called Fuji-Motors out of Japan. And this mini bike was marketed to folks that own small airplanes and for camping and for other uses where you could just pack up a folding mini bike to use for scooting around. And this one these are the pictures of it in the shape that I've got it, and it's terrible. As you can see, no real seat, just a baseball seat, or baseball base, I should say, attached to it for a seat. There's some pictures of it in my garage, and I'm in the process of starting to take it apart, which you'll see a little bit later in a video. But it's a really super cool thing. I think the whole concept of a folding mini bike is really just crazy. When fully assembled, it's supposed to weigh 70 pounds, so quite manageable. And what I'm hopeful to do is to restore this thing. So we'll see how that goes, and that's what these videos are going to be about. This is part one. So this is not it. This is pictures of what it will look like if ever I restore it, but that's it folded up. You can see folded up with the seat lifted. And this is the next photo here is kind of how it's going to look, hopefully, when I get it restored. That's kind of the dream anyways. Don't know if that's going to happen. There's obviously a long way to go to get that to happen, but that is the plan. So anyways, wish me luck on this one. Should be kind of fun, and we'll see how she goes. Okay, finally figured out how to get the back swing arm out. The way you do it, and actually maybe the better way to talk about is how to reassemble it. This pin here needs to get pulled, or in this case, I need to pull it out. But to reassemble it, of course, I need to push it back through here. This will then get slid back on top. I haven't quite pushed it out all the way yet. You can just see the end of it right there. So I'm going to try to get some piece of wood or something and push that through all the way to release the swing arm. But I wanted to make this video to make it kind of clear how to do that. Once it's all, the pin is back through and you've got the pulley back on, then you want to put the washer on and then screw this on. And interestingly, it is just normal thread on that. I thought it might be reverse thread, but it's just normal thread on that, and that gets threaded back on using a 17mm wrench. So yeah, that's how that goes. The one thing to keep in mind is I think at the moment this pulley is not adjusted correctly, because these little nuts here seem to be tightened right down, and the purpose of the bigger ones here, I think, is to allow the pulley to open and close with speed, much like a snowmobile does. So I'm pretty sure that this needs to be adjusted. It looks like there's flathead screw adjustments on the back here to actually provide a bit more play on that. Relatively academic, however, when putting together, it might be a good idea to adjust that. Okay, I'm going to give it a shot. Hopefully I get this pin out. Okay, just to follow up to the previous video, I took a hammer and a screwdriver, and I went and I just hammered that pin out, and it literally just fell on the ground beneath me. So that actually worked really well. So there's what that looks like. This is coming off in one piece. And as you can see, those are the little flat-headed screws on the back that I think need to be turned out a little bit to give this thing some play, because at the moment they look snugged right down, which kind of defeats the purpose of this adjustable pulley, which should open and close as you go faster. It should open up more, giving you more speed. And at the moment this thing's just cinched right down. I think somebody had this thing that didn't know what the hell they were doing, which isn't a surprise. Mind you, maybe I don't know what I'm doing either. Don't have a clue, but that's just a best guess. Everything else on this looks good except dirty, so that's all good. This piece here, on the other hand, which does thread on with the normal thread, is definitely bent and screwed up, so you're going to need to straighten that out and then yeah, paint and yada yada, whatever you want to do with it. So, okay, I think that's enough information to enable getting this thing back together at some point, hopefully. Maybe just before I end the video, maybe what I'll do is I'll just bring the bike back up here and to see what I mean by that pin coming right out. So that's the way it's going to have to go back together again. You're going to be putting the swing arm in there, putting the pin in, and then pushing it through, onto the pulley, and then eventually screwing on the cover plate. So that's how that goes. Okay, a little video on what probably is obvious, but I'm going to do this little video to be sure anyways. So in terms of the brake cable adjustment, the brake cable, as you can see, is running this way. Comes back up to here, it goes through and routes this way through here, and then comes back up to this little adjuster here. So you obviously just pull out your cable to get to the right tightness, and then adjust this, and Bob's your uncle. Now I've already got this totally loose, so I'm just going to take her off, right? Pull this off, but that's how you get her back together again, okay? Okay, getting that bolt off, that motor mount bolt off, is a real bitch. So I'm actually going to take the top off here, just take the rewind off, and just so I don't muck it up too badly, because otherwise, if nothing else, I'm going to scratch the shit out of the side of it. So just mentioning this because when you put this thing back together again, suggest doing the same thing in reverse. Do it with the rewind cover off. By that time, you've probably cleaned it up even more than it is now, and you're going to be really PO'd if you totally screw it up putting the motor back on. So pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Maybe there's an easier way, but so far I haven't seen anything. Okay, so pretty much have the engine out, just removing this throttle cable. So this is how the throttle cable routed onto the engine, and this little spring here goes through this little nut right there. The cable, of course, went through here and then tightened up with this little screw right here. So that's basically it. Okay, well, turns out I'm a little bit of an idiot here. So I was struggling like heck to get these bolts out, like just crazy, especially these ones that were so tight in there and hard to get off. So here's the deal. You take the engine off by removing those 4 bolts. I'm such an idiot. So that's the way you do it. So when you're putting this thing back on, take this bracket off, right, and bolt the bracket on through those holes on each side first using the rubber washers. Then take the engine and bolt the engine back on. Simple as fudge. Oh, okay, well, at least we learned something today, so I guess that's good. But that is an important pro tip to get this thing back on there. So, okay. Yeah, definitely do not try to get this back on the way that you took it off. Does not work. Put the bracket on first, then bolt the engine to the bracket. Simple. Okay, well, here we're beginning the process of making the seat for the mini bike. We've made some really good progress on it today. Hoping to take the frame down to get it powder coated today. Went and cleaned up the gas tank and checked it all out too. Thought I might have to red coat the gas tank, but looks like it's going to be totally good. So gonna get it powder coated as well tomorrow, so that should be great. And what I'm working on right now before I take this thing down is the seat, and this is an idea that I got from someone else off the internet, using 3 pieces of 1/8 inch plywood, or really it's door sheeting, whatever it is, 1/8 inch thick, 17 3/4 by 12 inches wide is what I'm doing this. Hopefully that's going to work out right. We're going to stick these things together, and then we're going to put them on the top of the frame here. And the way this seat is supposed to work is it's supposed to curl right around. I see I've made a mark here where the end of the seat is to be. That's the way this thing was stock. So we're going to try to mimic that with our our bottom wood for the seat before we get it upholstered, so that it actually is the same as it was when it was stock. So that's the dream. Whether we can do it or not, I don't know. We're going to give it a shot. If nothing else, we're going to make a big mess. Okay, well, we got the whole thing glued up and clamped up, and we're gonna see how this goes. Again, this is three pieces of 1/8 door skin slash plywood, glued together and then clamped rather severely, actually, to get that bend, to get that radius in there, you know, just the way it's supposed to be, so that we can use this as a base for the new seat. So we'll see if this works. I'm hopeful that this will fully dry overnight, because I want to take this into the powder coater tomorrow, obviously without all these clamps on and with this seat off. But I need that seat to stay in that same position, so I'm hopeful it'll dry well overnight. In fact, maybe what I'll do is put it in the house where it's a little warmer to make sure that it dries as much as possible. I think that might be a good idea, because I need to get this thing into the powder coater tomorrow. Very cool how this worked out. Again, this was not my idea. This idea was given to me by another guy online. It was actually a guy that I bought some parts off of, and it actually wasn't his idea. He got the idea from somebody else and then shared the info with me. So don't even know who to thank, but this is clearly I think a good idea. I'm clearly dripping a lot of paint all over this thing, aren't I? I'm gonna have to clean that up before I take it down to the powder coaters, aren't I? But oh well, que sera. Anyways, hope everybody's doing good, yeah, pretty happy with this so far. Okay, so that concludes the end of part one of this video. It's definitely a bit disjointed. Had never really intended to share these little clips. I was making them to try to instruct myself on how to put this thing back together again, but thought, oh, what the heck, I'll put it together as a video. So anyways, really appreciate you joining, and if you can, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it.